Never going to see him in court. That's a good thing. Okay, so we are now at the time where we're going to elect officers. Each year in July, we elect the president and vice president to serve for the following 12-month period. And those serving are nominated by the board. As a general practice, we have a conversation about this, just casual discussions about who might be interested in the position to serve as the president and vice president. And we're going to use the following procedures for electing officers. I will call for nominations from the floor. As president, I am allowed to nominate for these positions. As a board member can nominate themselves for a position. Any board member can make a nomination. Nominations do not require a second. I now open the floor to nominations.
I'll make a motion, or I'll make a nomination to elect Jerry Rosted as president and Zoe Abzi as vice president.
Okay. Are there any additional nominations?
Check with her and make sure she approves.
Ooh.
You
Are
accept the nomination?
Yes.
Okay.
Zoe accepts the nomination, and Jerry already has via conversation previously. Are there any other nominations? All right.
Close nominations.
Okay. Nominations for the positions of president and vice president are now closed. All those in favor of electing Jerry Rosted to the position of president and Zoe Abzi to the position of vice president signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone nay? Hearing none. Congratulations to our new president, Jerry Rosted, and our new vice president, Zoe Abzi. And in fine fashion, our president is not here. And so Zoe and
Trial by fire.
And Zoe, in Jerry's absence, will run the regular meeting of the Fargo Park Board from here on out. That's right.
All right. I will call to order the regular monthly meeting of the Board of Commissioners of the Park District. First order of business, are there any changes to the agenda?
Good evening. No, there are no changes to the agenda tonight.
Perfect. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All right. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All opposed say nay. Great. Next up is our consent agenda, which includes our minutes from the June meeting, board bills of June, and the approval of the transfer agreement with Central North Dakota Steam Threshers. Our beloved train will now have a new home in New Rockford. Any discussion or approval? Motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion?
I just want to say that I'm excited that we have something that we no longer have a use for, but is going to find a new home, and they are super excited about it, and it's going to work really well for them. So it's really nice when communities work together and find uses for things that maybe have extended their life for our community, but is going to be super exciting for the North Dakota Steam Threshers reunion. So I think that's fantastic.
Awesome. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Jeff, please pull the board.
Commissioner Deutsch,
Aye.
Commissioner Dawson,
Aye.
Commissioner C. Cormier,
Aye.
Commissioner Abzi.
Aye. Motion carries. Moving on to the regular agenda, there is no recognition of public comment, correct? All right. So moving on to the director's report.
Yeah, thank you. So it was a beautiful evening last Thursday to celebrate 100 years at Edgewood. I think we had approximately 400 people that were in attendance. And I just want to thank our teams, our events team, our Edgewood golf team for putting a spectacular event together. The games, the food, the music, I think made the evening fantastic. And I also want to thank all of the Park Board commissioners for attending and supporting our staff, as well as our staff who supported the event. I think it was a fun evening for all. Another update is I think many of you know, Holly Huso was leading leadership training for us the past almost 3 years, and she concluded her final training yesterday. And some of the topics that she trained Fargo Park District staff on over the years, authentic leadership, people cultivating a coaching mindset, just recognition and rewards, building trust in the workplace. And one that I think was really helpful for us is running effective meetings. So, we just wanted to recognize and thank Holly for her efforts. And our HR team will be continuing to look for next and new opportunities to bring some additional trainings to our employees. And then last, I just had the opportunity a couple weeks ago to meet with Jesse Rock of the Science Museum, the executive director, and we had just a great conversation about potentially how Fargo Parks can partner with the Science Museum as they continue kind of moving forward with their plan. So I'll make sure to keep commissioners informed on any of those conversations. And again, I think it's just another exciting potential for the city of Fargo and community. And then I think just the last update is it's hot outside. It's hot. So we have this evening canceled some of the activities that we host outdoors. We were able to move some of the programs inside, but just with the extreme heat, we made that decision for our teams. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Susan? All right. Thanks, Susan. Next, we have high school girls flag football update with Randy Litchie. Welcome.
Hi guys, I'm Randy Litchie. I work in the recreation department. Been here for a little bit, so just thank you for having me today. I'm excited to share our update on our high school flag football. So this is an inaugural season. The journey really began in fall of 25 when we started talking with the Minnesota Vikings on if we should, how we should, all those fun conversations to move forward. We decided basically January of 2026 that we were going to move forward. So by adding this sports league, it created an opportunity for high school girls to have something that they didn't have before in our community. This is the fastest growing sport in the country. So for North Dakota to be the first in the state to offer it for here at the Fargo Park District, it was a major win for us in the rec department. So this season our goal was for 4 teams. Max capacity would be 8. We wanted to operate at a varsity level. We typically don't do that in our rec department. So that's something that we just wanted to be intentional and make sure that we could provide a high quality experience for everybody who was involved. Registrations got open about mid-March, with the season starting in April. During that time, our marketing team developed a really good plan. We made some videos, some marketing material. We went to tabling at the local high schools to try to introduce and get the word out there that we're having the league. So the response was super exciting. We ended up with 60 girls from multiple different schools. They were very excited to start. So I had lots of calls from all of them. They were super excited. So we got started on day 1. Most kids didn't know each other, even though they had been at the same school. So it was really fun for me to see over the next 8 weeks to create the team atmosphere and for everybody to feel like they started to belong to something. It was really cool to watch everybody. So we had a huge success because of our 8 coaches and our 1 volunteer coach. Yes. They invested an incredible amount of time, not only on the field, but off the field. They came up with playbooks. They had everything for those girls. They were ready to go. So from my perspective on the sideline, we got to watch them, teach them about this is the position and the rules and basic games. By the end of the season, they're having conversations about strategy and game management and how the athletes are seeing on the field. So it was awesome to see the girls be impacted by learning this game. So we had girls that participated. This was their very first organized sport. We had girls that had multiple other things that they did in the spring, but decided that football was their passion and became just football players in the spring. We even had one athlete who had changed her college plans and decided to go to a different college to play flag football at the collegiate level. So that was very exciting to watch. After only a couple games, she decided that this is something she wanted to further her career with. So after the season, many of the girls came up to me and asked about what they can do next. What camps, how can we get better? What can we provide more for them? Still in the works, but we're hoping to get something for them. It's a true measure of success that I got to witness all of these girls be so excited and come up and be truly passionate about it at the end of the season. So at our state tournament, we crowned the inaugural state championship and recognized a first team all-state. Many milestones that these athletes probably would never see before this program. So this pilot season would not have been possible without our coaches, our quality officials, families that supported the girls to try something new, and our partnership with the Minnesota Vikings. Overall, we consider it a tremendous success, and we are really excited to see it for next year. Does anybody have any questions?
I don't have any questions, but I'm so excited that this went so well.
Yeah.
And that so many kids who didn't play other sports and didn't do other things found something that is great for them.
Is this something then with Minnesota Vikings that we can continue doing with them every year?
Yep. For now, we will, as long as we continue to grow, we will keep getting support. And eventually we'll have to start trying to get ourselves kind of back around it, but they will get us off the ground. So. Yeah.
Well, as the volunteer coach, I have to say that you guys did an absolutely amazing job. I've coached Fargo Park District things back when we ran our own baseball and everything else over 25 years with 3 boys. And it's certainly not about me, but the reason I'm telling that story is because I've never coached girls before. And I had glitter in my hair, as you can all attest to, for the championship tournament day. That was a first. But Randy, you did an amazing job of organizing this thing and recognizing that it was the first year. Like, a lot of these girls had never done anything before. We all got invited to one of their graduation parties at the end, and she wasn't friends with any of the girls on the team before we started, and her graduation party was that afternoon, and she wasn't missing our game in order to do that. Kevin's been with you the whole way. He was there every week, helping out however he could. And, I don't want to say the most important thing, but truly most important thing, if you don't have officials that know what they're doing, then nothing works, right? Because of the fact that this is all new to everybody. It was a 50-yard field, yada, yada. And Dave, did such a great job of organizing those officials, hiring his buddies who are, and they came in on Saturdays and Sundays during a time of year but everybody was in this for the right reasons, and it was a great experience, and the girls just were so so open to learning, because it was just a new learning experience for everybody. So I can't say enough great things about how you guys did this. Obviously there was bumps in the road every week, but nobody panicked, and everybody worked together, and there was no complaining parents, and there was no entitled children. It was just an awesome new experience for everybody involved. And I can't say enough great things about your organization and running of the whole thing, but the experience that everybody got to have together. So I say thank you for that opportunity.
Sure.
Can't wait to do it again next year.
Yep. Good. Thank you.
And there's your girls flag football ambassador right there.
One more thing, I'd like to personally thank Randy for all the work she did. We got thrown into this, like she said, late in the game. So running a program that we didn't budget for and having the Vikings step up is a big partnership for us. But Randy did a lot of work in the back end and a lot of time spent getting this off the ground. So congratulations to you, Randy. Dave, thanks a lot for all your work with the officials, and you did a good job.
Yeah, I remember that the window for hiring your coaches was very, very tight. And at the end of the day, you didn't have everybody you needed. And so everybody stepped up, and it was awesome. So thank you, Randy, for all your hard work on that.
We have heard from the Bismarcks, the Jamestown,
Yeah.
and Grand Forks interests. We're hoping it's going to grow.
And one of the major companies came in and filmed. I mean, it just ironically happened to be my team's practice, but they brought in drones and everything. So there's a video that's being released, right, at the end of this month. I don't want to steal the thunder
Yes,
from your.
It should be coming out here
Okay.
shortly. I don't know the exact date or if they've really gotten to us back,
Okay.
but yeah, they made a little short video about us. It was pretty cool. So they
Interviewed the
quite-
coaches and
yeah,
brought in
coaches.
drones to watch the girls running plays and everything.
Yep,
So,
it'll be really cool. Hopefully it comes out soon. So, yeah. Yep.
well, thank you.
Yes, thanks, Randy. All right, up next and for the foreseeable future, we have Brock Leitz presenting on the resolutions creating park improvement district number 2026-1 Madeline Meadows.
Don't be offended if we don't clap for you after this,
All right,
Brock.
Madam Vice President, thank you.
Just
That's a good introduction, and I will expect Dr. Joe some applause when we're done here. I come before you with a number of items today, but items 4 and 5 are very similar, but due to the statutory requirements for approval and how we have to do roll calls, we will ask you to approve them individually. But I'll give some general overviews because the items are very similar. As you may recall, the Park District traditionally has worked with developers in the city of Fargo anytime there's new development within the city to have an opportunity to be a part of that development and put in park amenities. There is a number of steps that have happened in the past, and as we presented to you throughout the course of this year, but then formalized in June, a formal proposal where the Park District has now set up a special assessment committee to really manage the vast majority of this process rather than working through the city. We have a number of things that we've worked with our general counsel on, who has helped us draft resolutions. There's a very systematic process that this undertakes, and we'll bring you along for each item of that as we go. This evening, what we're bringing is the first one, and they'll have the same resolutions. We'll be bringing a resolution to create a special improvement district, declaration of intent, resolution directing engineers and architects to prepare a report, a resolution approving said report, and then a resolution directing the architects and engineers to develop plans and specs. Once all of that action happens between now and when they get that work done, we'll be coming back to you to approve those plans and specs, direct administration to go out for bid, and then we'll be bringing back a bid award. So this will kind of move along systematically throughout the year here as we go forward. The first one that we have in front of you to consider is the creating the Park Improvement District number 2026-1, which is Madeline's Meadows. In Madeline's Meadows, we expect in the resolutions that the maximum bond price that we'll have is expected to be $876,335.20. I draw your attention to the word expected. These are estimates right now, and in the developer's agreement, there is an estimate. And as we go out to bid, we'll bring that back to you. We do bond for these projects, and then we create in the special assessment district, then it's a special assessment on the property owners of that district. The collection of those assessments pay the bond. So it's a net zero to the Park District because there's an assessment to those property owners who benefit from the development, and then that pays off the assessment over the period of time. As you recall, you did approve a special assessment committee, 3 individuals from our community that were selected due to their background and expertise in various areas. That committee is the one that brings you the benefit, and we showed you kind of the metrics that they work through in this process to develop how they measure the improvement to that district. What the requirement is statutorily is that you show that the improvement is greater than that which you're assessing for. And that is really given the authorization to provide the assessment. If that was not the case, we would have to make a decision to either fund it on our own or make a different plans if the benefit to the property owners was less than the cost of the amenities. So the next 2 slides, the first one will be a map of Madeline's Meadows. So this is a look at where the lots are, the number of lots, and then exactly kind of where the park will be and how we will get that developed. And then I've also got Rusty Popacek will come up and visit with you about the committee's recommendation for the benefit. And as we go forward procedurally, once we get out to the next steps, really there's opportunities for protest in front of the committee. The committee really is your appointed group to bring you this benefit and work with the community in those developments. So if we go to the next slide, I'll invite Rusty up and he'll visit with you about Madeline's Meadows, how the committee came up to their determination of benefit and any questions you might have for him.
Thanks, Brock. So in May, you guys approved the matrix. This is a matrix, but the one thing that we'll go through tonight is just putting in the amenities in each development. So on the screen right now is Madeline's Meadows. You can see up in the right corner, there's 324 lots. The things that we plugged in is it's a neighborhood park. So we put in the 324 in the top line, the trail shared use path, playground equipment, open air shelter, and then the trees. We have 28 trees going in there. So you can see the tangible benefits and the intangible. When you come to the total, it says subtotal, but the total on the very right is 132,000, 30,760. So I mean, that far outweighs what the estimated construction cost is at 876, 635. Yep.
And that's the plan, is that you can show that the tangible benefits outweigh the cost to the end user, which is the
Tangible and intangible,
Sure.
so that the total benefit outweighs the construction cost.
Sure.
Yep,
to the neighborhood and to each of those individual lots.
right.
Great.
And this, some people might get confused. This isn't saying that each lot, like the appraised value, goes up that much. It's just the benefit to that area.
Sure.
So,
No, the amount of work that you guys have done to create a matrix that we can then use to guide us and to show that we are showing that value and bringing that value.
Yeah.
That's
we made it as
Invaluable.
objective as possible. And one thing with the committee, then we're going to look at this, periodically, and things might change. Construction costs might change. We might do something a little bit different on how we value something. One of the things I noticed on here kind of after the fact is we used a square foot number for like the open air pavilions. That might seem small when you look at the other ones at 46,000. We might go back, because really what we're trying to do is say, if this playground wasn't in that park, what would someone have to pay to put something similar to that in their own backyard? So if you did more of a pavilion, that, some of these are very conservative. So I think as this goes on, the number will probably go up.
sure.
So
For
are you
the-
looking for an approval? Oh,
For
go
the
ahead.
intangible calculation, is that like an industry standard methodology, or how do you determine the
You
intangible?
probably weren't here, but you have the matrix and then the background to that. And someone on our committee, Dominic Fisher, he's a landscape architect. We all had a part in it, but he went through, we used some of the city information that they had, but then there is, I don't know, probably 10 or 12 references in the matrix that, we made it as objective as possible.
Thanks.
Yeah, so if there aren't any additional questions for Rusty or myself, we would be looking for you to, discuss if there's any additional discussion or do an approval of the resolutions as presented. And then I think Carmen has got the particular, we'll need signatures from our clerk and kind of how the roll call works, et cetera. There's a very systematic way that we have to record that as well. So we'd be looking for an approval on this one, and then we will discuss the next one with you as well. Before you do that, Commissioner Secor I will get you that matrix that we provided. It was some time ago that we actually put the background together of what those particulars were. We'll make sure to get that to you so you can see that, because it will be kind of the roadmap for each going forward and then be adjusted annually as there's things that change.
Thank you.
Yep, absolutely.
So I move to approve the resolutions creating Park Improvement District number 2026-1, Madeline's Meadows.
I'll second.
All right, any discussion? Any further discussion? Jeff, please pull the board.
Commissioner Deutsch,
Aye.
Commissioner Dawson,
Aye.
Commissioner C. Cormier,
Aye.
Commissioner Absey,
Aye, motion carries.
All right, here we are again. Ta-da. So this is the exact same set of resolutions, another development that's been in the works, and this has been in the works for a while as well. This one is Selkirk Third Edition. It actually is, I believe, the name is different. Yep, Clay Hector North is the actual name of what the development will be. Again, the exact same set of resolutions, the same process. I will point out to you that in the time that we had the planning committee and now we did get an updated maximum bond amount. And so we will change that in the resolution. I think in your packet, the bond amount was 906,000 and change. That has gone up. And these were based on the original developers agreement. So these have been in place, some of them for maybe a year or longer. We want to make sure as we're going out to bond, we have as good of information as possible. That information most recently from MBN is coming in at $974,379.83. The exact same process was followed with the committee, the same developers agreement, et cetera. And again, these are estimates at this time. When they go out to bid, many of you have seen the public bid awards and how those come in. They'll go out to bid. We'll bring them back to you with exact dollar amounts that to award the bid, so we will know. So again, what I'll do is if you go to the next slide, you'll see where this park will go in Selkirk. So this one is on the edge of that development, and then I'll ask Rusty to come back up and walk you through the particulars with that one because it's very similar, but there'll be some different amenities as well as different number of lots and a higher price to that project. So he'll walk you through the committee's work on that one as well.
This will be even briefer. So same thing, 560 lots in Clay Hector, kind of the same, neighborhood park, same amenities, playground, the open air pavilion, walking path. You get down to the total of 228, 133, 650 versus estimated construction cost of 974, 380. This has been a process, and these are two. It'll get easier as we move forward. So I don't know if you know about Madeline's Meadows. That development has already pretty much been built out. So it's reverse of what what you guys typically do is you build the park, development comes afterwards. That one's built out. We're putting the park in. Clay Hector's not quite to that level, but it's pretty active right now with homes. So that won't go in next. And I think we have maybe one or two on the docket. And we'll get ahead of those, put the park in before the development starts. Any questions?
Remind me, who determines what's in the park? Is it us or is it the developer that comes with the plan?
Joint. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, it really is a joint effort. We work with the developers, kind of see some things they're thinking about. We also want to play a much more active role in that. I know in working with Susan and the executive team, we want to make sure that as part of our park system master plan and our strategic plan, we're looking at, what's different today in parks as you put them in than what it used to be. And so we're trying to work hand in hand with those, but it's a joint effort between the developer and us.
And I think the other thing with that too is looking at what type of development it is. So if it's, younger families, you're going to go with a, 2 to 5 play structure. If it's older, maybe a little bit more expensive, you go with a different structure in that park.
Thoughtful, which is good. Intentional, which is good.
So again, we would be looking for a motion to approve the 2026-2 Circlin Third Edition resolutions, and then we will move this through the process much as we discussed with the previous one.
I move to approve the resolutions creating Park Improvement District number 2026-2, Selkirk Third Edition.
Second.
Any discussion? Any further discussion? Jeff, please pull the board.
Commissioner Deutsch,
Aye.
Commissioner Dawson,
Aye.
Commissioner C. Cormier,
Aye.
Commissioner Absey,
Aye, motion carries.
Just before we move on, Madam Vice President, just for procedurally, you heard Rusty discuss kind of the sequence that we have these in reverse order. As soon as possible, we will actually be sending out letters to all of the homeowners in the Madeline's Meadows area, so they will get specific to their property, an estimate of what the specials will look like, what the amenities will be, et cetera. Typically, that just happens directly with the developer, but because those are built out, we'll be communicating directly with homeowners. We'll work with the city to get that done. There's a 60-day protest period in which the city will monitor how many protests may or may not come in. So that will be that process. And after 60 days, there'll be an opportunity for the public to have a hearing in front of the SAC committee. So that committee that you appointed will listen to any concerns that come through from that development. And then depending on the result of that, we'll proceed with next steps. So again, typically you've got a developer and the park district, and we're working all this out on the front end. And then it's any assessments are attached to those developments. In this case, we're working directly with the homeowners, and so we'll start that process right away.
But wasn't the land allocated in, I mean, so the land was at least allocated in there. So if I was to have built a house in there, there's very, very high likelihood I was expecting that a park was coming in that spot.
That is
eventually.
correct. Yep.
As opposed
Commissioner
to
Deutsch.
our older developments where we built them out and never made a spot for the playground. And then it was impossible to try to figure out where we're going to put a park in that neighborhood after the fact, not to mention how to fund it. So,
Yep, that is correct, Commissioner Deutsch. Typically what happens in these is we get an allocation of lots. That did happen. We have possession of that. Anybody who bought those homes, as you say, likely knew that there would be a park development in there. It's just that we hadn't put it in advance. So you were correct.
So the only thing I would like to just add to what Brock shared is for Madeline's Meadows, in addition to sending the letter to homeowners, we are going to invite the neighborhood in for just more of an open forum to give those residents who purchased those homes an opportunity to ask any questions, again, because this particular project was just a little bit out of sequence.
Any further questions on that?
Thank you.
I have a question on the other development with the more typical or ideal sequence. What is that communication structure between does the developer then handle that communication and it's not on us to do that?
Yes, typically what happens is exactly that. So as the developer selling lots, they've communicated, either they or the realtors communicated what the plans are. In that case, there are some homes being built. I don't know that they are as inhabited as Madeline's is. And so as we proceed through that, we'll need to visit about whether or not there will be a similar process to Madeline's Meadows. At this point, we're not thinking there will, but if there needs to be, we certainly will do that. But in the future, yes, as the developer starts to sell lots, then the park typically would be there already. So as you buy a lot, you'd see the park and know that it's there. So then that would resolve itself and you'd know that that's part of the special you're paying for the purchase of the lot.
And the developer appreciates that relationship because then they typically sell that lot for more money because it's directly across the street from a park.
All right, thank you. Up next, approval of bank resolution.
All right. Madam Vice President, members of the board, we bring you kind of an annual change that we do every time that we have new officers elected, in which we give you bank resolutions in which you as a board, once you elect your new officers, are authorizing signers for our bank accounts. Myself as the treasurer is a signer, and then the board president is also a signer on the accounts that we have. The resolution before you simply names Old National Bank as our depository bank for our general checking account. the accounts at Courts Plus, and the payroll account, as well as the medical insurance account and any money market accounts we have there. The assigning authority, because that is our operating account, is the president and the treasurer. And we will secure, now that he's been elected, President Rosted's signature the next time we see him. And then I will sign the new resolution. We bring this to you on an annual basis anytime there's turnover. So it's just the formal change of signing authority. So sorry, Vicki, you no longer will have signing authority.
That's probably a good thing.
Any questions on that item?
I move that we approve the bank resolution as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? Any further discussion? Jeff, please pull the board.
Commissioner Deutsch,
Aye.
Commissioner Dawson,
Aye.
Commissioner Secorme,
Aye.
Commissioner Abzi.
Aye. Motion carries. All right. Up next, 2027 proposed fees for programs, facilities, and pools with Mr. Kevin Bowe.
Good evening, commissioners. In your packet are the proposed 2027 or 2027 fees for youth programs, adult programs, facilities, as well as pools. Also in your packet is some comparisons from West Fargo, Moorhead, and Bismarck. This is the same information that was presented at the planning meeting in June. Staff developed these recommendations on a per cost participant basis, market comparison, historical fees trends, and program enrollment. With our youth and adult program fees, we had some staff changes through retirement, and part of that transition, we did some reorganization in the department and redeveloped and reintroduced some programs. So with those programs on the youth side, we had 6. I don't know, do you have the fee structures up there? Or is it just the actual fees that are presented? I know you have them in front of you, I believe. Okay. So there's 6 youth programs that are looking at proposing changes to our structure. The first one is Camp a Day. That's program, really the justification is a $3 increase, is really that it's staffing and program supplies. That program does field trips, so it's a little bit more involved with that program. The other one is skating lessons. We're going to a $3 increase. That is for staffing and program supplies. Ice skating review. That's also a $5 increase. Justification obviously is staffing as well as program supply costs. Track and field, $3 increase for staffing and programs cost. Fargo or FMYBL, that really is a $3 increase, and that is strictly for the officials, and those costs keep continuing to go up. One area that we decreased on the youth side is archery. That program, we're trying to revive that program, so we're looking at proposing a $4 decrease on that program. So any questions on the youth side? I know it's probably a lot of information.
So, we discussed a lot of this at length at the planning committee meeting. And so I don't want it to seem like we haven't been involved and had long discussions about the changes, if there were changes, why they're going up, because you guys did present at that meeting and we had good discussion about why are we going up, what should we go down with. We talked about, I think Zoe even brought up the life skill classes and the different things you guys are doing to encourage more participation, and where maybe we're full all the time. Are we, really working out that balance of charging what makes the most sense, value to what they're getting for their return?
Absolutely. And part of that will be part of the park system master plan that we'll be going through. So that will be identifying the needs that the community is looking for. If no questions on that, I'll move into the adult programs. So we're looking at 8 programs to change. Some are decreased, some are added to. Co-ed softball, we're looking at a $13 decrease. That's because of the decline of number of teams. 3-on-3 basketball, $4 increase. Again, program supplies. 5-on-5 basketball is looking at $18 increase. That's the increase for officials. Beginning fly fishing, we're reducing that $3. We haven't had that since 2025. Co-ed softball league, we're looking at a $4 reduction on that. Again, for the decline for number of teams. The hockey league increased $16 for the increased cost of officials. Sand volleyball, program supply cost. Volleyball league justification is for the cost of officials. So any questions on the adult side?
No, and similar to everything else, the meticulous time and nature of reducing something or increasing something by a few dollars, which is 2, 3, 4% in most cases. Obviously that doesn't come easy. That's a lot of time and a lot of thought process and factoring in, okay, how much does this cost? So I know the rest of the board appreciate the time and energy that you guys spend on something that you say, oh, let's just pick a number. Well, you don't just pick a number. You take the time to work it through and figure out what does the end user receive, what are our costs, and how do we match that? So,
And with the master
thank you.
plan, doing that cost recovery model will be beneficial for us.
And I think it's important here to point out again, which I think we do point out quite a bit, it feels like on our end, but at the same time, it's important to make sure that it's out there that we do have family programs for people who can't afford these facilities anymore. It's not just the youth like it used to be. It's the entire family in conjunction with the Fargo Park District Foundation. So, and it, simply put, it's basically if you're on the free and reduced program,
The scholarship program.
with food in the Fargo Public Schools or West Fargo Schools or whatever. Fargo Public Schools. You can reach out to us, and that once that's verified, the family qualifies. So,
Correct. Yep.
thank you.
So moving on to facility fees, staff reviews these fees as well. We looked at the surrounding communities. The tough part about this is because the amenities that other communities offer compared to what we offer, size of facilities. So there's a lot of that goes into looking at these different price structures. So as you see on the facility fees, really it's the ice rental fees that are going up to $190 an hour. Some of the shelters, again, tough to compare different shelters. Moorhead's got some big structures and they're newer structures. So in comparison, I think we're well within those price structures and the range for what we need to do. One area that we decreased is Row Farm full site rentals from $906 to $800. We're not currently getting any full site rentals, but this might help that cause. The other really to know the worth, the AgriLime infield diamonds and grass infield diamonds and the rectangular field diamonds, just marginal increases of those. We're also going to work with Tony and the Parks team to put together a cost recovery model to look at those fields, so we have a better idea of what we have moving forward. And then apparently I got to cover Tony's stuff for the campgrounds. The only thing he's looking at right now is a $2 per day fee for the campground, going from 38 to 40. Everything else is status quo. Any questions on facility fees? Okay. Onto the pools. Staff is not recommending increases to daily admissions or the resident season passes. We are looking at a new non-resident season pass recommended at a 10% above the resident rate to recognize the Fargo taxpayers and investment while continuing to provide affordable access for the pools. So any questions on the pool fees?
Does Bravo count as a question? I think this is fantastic. I so appreciate that we have found a way to I don't know if reward is the right word, but to say, hey, residents of Fargo who are paying for these amenities, these facilities, these things we have for the entire community and region to enjoy, you're going to get a little bit of a break over the person coming from the outside, since you are paying the taxes that help keep all of the park district afloat. So I appreciate it, and I appreciate the time and energy you guys put in to work out what made the most sense and what was feasible for us to
Yep.
to utilize.
It takes a team effort. So I thank the recreation staff. One last thing I'd like to add, as I mentioned in the planning meeting, the food and beverage pricing. Okay, we don't bring this to the board for approval. If we do have market changes, because market fluctuates, I know Chad looks at these prices twice a year. If there's any market changes, we will bring it to the executive team and have that conversation. If there's any talk about moving prices up for food and beverage or concessions areas, but at this point, it's pretty stagnant right now. So, any questions I can help answer?
No, I just would like to reiterate what Vicky said as far as everybody thinks that pools are expensive and golf courses are expensive. But the reality is, I mean, for us to pay to use them, the reality is we're subsidizing these things. And so, and we're subsidizing them with citizens of Fargo's money, tax-paying money. So I think that this model that you guys are looking to go to only makes sense, that we reward or we compensate per se the people who are living here and helping put on these amazing opportunities for everybody in the whole region.
Agreed.
I know you said that Island Park pool has been at capacity. Have all the pools been at capacity over this hot streak?
Davies and South have been near capacity, not quite at max, but they're close when it's hot like this.
That's great.
Davies, they're redoing the parking lot down there, so that thing is
Right.
really tore up. So we're working with McGough and the school district to coordinate some of those efforts, because now the transition will start next week.
So on that note of capacity, this is a technical question, but someone asked me just yesterday, is our capacity based on the fire marshal, or is our capacity based on our lifeguards, or is it both?
We work with the health inspector.
Okay. So neither. I was wrong on both. Okay.
And it's based on the model aquatic health code. That's a worldwide code that's used in all aquatic facilities.
Okay. And that's what guides the total number we can have in the facilities at any given time.
Ratio of lifeguards to the number of potential patrons in the water?
It's more a combination of deck space, pool space, and how many toilets.
Way more sophisticated. I won't ask any more questions. That's why they're the experts.
Yeah, that's why it's a worldwide group that's put that together. They meet annually and make modifications to that. And the health, Cass Public Health adopted that about 4 years ago.
Thanks, Dave.
One more plug, All Access Day tomorrow at Davies.
Exciting.
Ride your bike there because you won't find a parking spot.
Correct.
I just have a question. This is more of a logistic question, but on the resident versus non-resident, especially for like daily admission. So I'm thinking my kids just biking over to Island Park, which they do. What is the criteria for proving resident versus non-resident? I'm thinking of my kids going over by themselves.
So there is no non-resident resident. Sorry. There is no resident, non-resident for daily admissions. It is for season passes.
It's just
So,
for season.
yes,
Okay.
that was talked about because a lot of the kids that come to the pool
Right.
specifically don't come with an ID. So that would be tough to be able to monitor. We decided, or as a leadership team decided to look at the season passes as first option.
Okay, so then it's just whatever address you enter,
Correct.
that determines that criteria.
That
for
is
it.
correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And the limited accountability that we have to that is your address is going to have to match the form of payment that you're putting in there. And so it's not like people can just be making up random addresses.
Correct.
Or anything.
Has to be a legitimate address.
Okay, with that, I will make a motion that we approve the 2027 fees for programs, facilities, and pools.
Second.
Any discussion? Any further discussion? Jeff, please pull the board.
Commissioner Deutsch,
Aye.
Commissioner Dawson,
Aye.
Commissioner Secor May,
Aye.
Commissioner Absey,
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin.
All right. Up next, 2027 proposed fees for golf with Rocky Popchek.
I already set the table for you. You're ready to go where?
Come before you to discuss the 2027 proposed fees for golf. In your packet are the proposed rates for 2027 golf fees and season passes. The staff reviewed the golf fees, as part of the 2027 budget, and the primary goal is to have a 97 to 100% cost recovery. Goal would be that golf is self-sustaining and is not supported by any tax dollars. So the key golf fee updates, the green fees and related all golf fees will be increased by 4%, rounded to the nearest 25 cents. We did eliminate the non-prime Monday through Thursday rates, figuring today, every day's prime time. So eliminating that Monday through Thursday discount rate we felt appropriate. We've also included the resident and non-resident senior pass for the 2027 season, with the resident passes reflecting a 10% discount from the non-resident rate. The rates and the tables have been included in your packet for any comparisons, as well as there are some comps to what we figure are golf courses in our markets: Grand Forks, Bismarck, Sioux Falls. And you'll see that we fall in line with, and in some cases, we are still under our competitive set for golf in Fargo. So with that, just a couple of the primary rates: the Edgewood and Rose Creek green fee would go from $45 to $46.75. A senior rate would increase from $36 to $37.50. Osgood increased from $25 to $26. Prairie Wood from $20 to $20.75, and El Zago going from $15 to $15.50. Any questions on green fee rates?
No, again, like the pools with the resident and non-resident, I appreciate that we you guys did a lot of heavy lifting trying to figure out what's a fair price, what's a good number, and what's going to still keep our courses busy and accommodate everyone. So thank you.
You're welcome. As far as our season passes, the 5-for-1, which is one of our more popular passes, will increase for a resident to $1,090, so up $30 from the 2026 rate. The non-resident price will be $1,210, a difference of $150. So it'd be an increase of $120 over our current rate. Our senior passes would increase from $830 to $850. For a resident and a non-resident, it would be $945. We did eliminate we had a restricted and a non-restricted junior rate. We eliminated each of those and just now have a junior rate. A lot of it was just hard to manage, at each of the golf courses. We want to encourage, junior golf, and certainly didn't want to turn juniors away if they came and we had availability in the times and they wanted to play. So that's really all of the big changes on our season passes. Any questions?
I think I just wanted to add, and just to clarify, so season passes for pools and for golf season passes are the only pass options where we're looking at a resident and a non-resident rate. And again, kind of looking at that for pools and for golf, that we are serving, the larger community, especially in golf. We've been hearing a lot about, just tea times, right? And it's full and it's busy, which is fantastic. So again, it's looking at in those areas of giving something back to our Fargo residents for the property tax support.
And just to touch on that, it seems every year we have our best year when it comes to golf rounds. And just doing a analysis yesterday, we sit today 1,000 more rounds than we did last year. So the demand, is obviously still there. And, I think in our discussions, it was, to allow our Fargo residents that first access, I think will be greatly appreciated.
Absolutely. Best year ever. So if you can keep doing this every year for about another, 20, 30 years, what do you think? Best year ever, every
It'll be
year?
the next guy 20 years from now.
Okay, I'll take a hand.
He's setting the
I'll lay the
roadblocks for them.
groundwork, for the
Perfect.
success to the
Set-
next,
that's
of the
right.
next
Set
person.
the
How about
stage
that?
for long term.
Right. You're welcome.
Do we have a sense on I guess both for pools and golf, I'm curious, just a sense on the current participation of residents versus non-resident?
I don't
comparison?
have that exact number, but certainly could try
No,
and get it
it
to
was
you.
just more
Yeah.
curiosity's sake, because I do think kind of to your point too, it's appealing enough for non-residents to come use those facilities and spaces, and that's a benefit to our community too, right? Is that we're attracting folks from cities other than Fargo is amazing also.
So for pools, our resident is 71%, non-resident 39%. So we do
Yeah.
track all that information.
Yeah.
I would say, your 4 golf courses, it's going to be primary Fargo residents, but we're out at Osgood, we're going to have as many West Fargo residents as we do in
Right.
Fargo, just basically from the proximity of where we're located
Yeah.
out there.
So
We
that's
have
tremendous.
about 65% of our pass holders are Fargo residents.
I was going to say, we have it for passes, but because of data tracking, we're improving that this year, trying to really get everyone to register, get their information in so we can track it better for greens fees as well as our passes. So it's a concerted effort to continue to improve that so we
Sure.
have more of those details.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Thank you.
Thanks, Rocky.
Want me to
Oh,
keep-
sorry.
Want me to keep going?
No, I mean, I guess,
Your turn.
with that being said, I'll propose I will make a motion that we approve the 2027 proposed golf fees as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? Any further discussion? If not, Jeff, please pull the board.
Commissioner Deutsch,
Aye.
Commissioner Dawson,
Aye.
Commissioner Secor May,
Aye.
Commissioner Abzi.
Aye, motion carries. Thanks, Vicki and Joe, for
Thank
doing
you.
all the motioning. Thanks, Rocky. Up next, 2027 proposed fees for Sports Center with Kaylee Moore.
Good evening, Commissioners. For fear of sounding like a broken record to my predecessors, I will also state that in relation to setting the 2027 fees for the Sports Center, we benchmarked our rates against other comparable cities, not only in North Dakota, but also Minnesota and South Dakota, given the type of facility that the Sports Center entails. We had to go a little bit further outside the geographical borders to find like facilities to benchmark against. We also look, in addition to the comparable rates across the markets, we also look at the local market conditions and constraints that we may be facing, as well as the relative scope of amenities and services that are offered at the Sports Center as part of rentals when people come here. In your packet is included the full proposed table of rate changes that we are proposing for the Sports Center. Most notably, you'll see a few highlights in that as the indoor track was the #1 identified amenity in our 2016 needs assessment study when identifying what we should be putting in the Sports Center, we are proposing that that remains free as an amenity to the general public to come in and use during our public hours. We have rates that we are not recommending an increase at all, including our open play admissions, which that we set at $5 when we opened the doors back in 2024. We are proposing to continue that. Again, we'll note within that $5, we are including 7.75% in sales tax. So that $5 does not reflect the full revenue that the park district will receive. It's inclusive of 36 cents in sales tax that will remit to the state. One other thing with the $5 open play, we understand that even though we are a large facility, we serve a diverse community, which also includes a diverse range of income levels. And so our $5 open play punch cards that we offer to the community are also a part of the Park District's scholarship program, just to ensure that everybody, no matter their income levels, have the opportunity to enjoy the sports center and all we have to offer. We have a number of other areas that we're not recommending any increases for 2027. We have certain areas that we were actually recommending decreases based on the utilization and the comparable research that we were doing. And then we also have areas that we're recommending increases of varying amounts. All of those details can be found on the rate table in your packet. Probably one of the biggest changes that we're recommending for 2027 is the removal of non-prime rates. Non-prime, if you recall, are mainly our daytime hours throughout the week. The utilization that we're seeing during that time doesn't warrant the non-prime rates that we're offering. It's not enticing more people to rent during those times. So we are recommending removing those and just moving to a full regular rate schedule. In addition to that, though, removing non-prime fees, we are recommending a summer rate, which effectively is the same as our previous non-prime rates of 30% discounts throughout the summer months, just because we are an indoor facility. And while we are very busy during the winter, we are not as busy in the summer, though it's increasing. I think everyone can say this year is busier than last summer, which was busier than the year before. Like golf. One of the things, just as a side note within that, as part of their donor agreements, both youth hockey organizations do have or do receive non-prime rates during the hockey season in honor of their agreement with their donation to the facility. It's more of a vernacular change, but effectively the historical non-prime rate has been 30% below the prime rate that was listed. So we'd be moving the youth hockey organizations over to a 30% discount versus a non-prime. It's the effective same rate that they've been receiving to ensure that we stay in compliance with their donor agreement. And finally, we are recommending that we adjust the rate schedules for the sports center to coincide and remain consistent with the rest of the park district, which means we would be shifting from a June 1st change of rates to January 1. Everywhere else in the district, their rates change on January 1st each year. Ours currently are June 1st, so we would be recommending to move that over to January 1 as well. Any questions? Well, that was easy.
Well, I mean, I will just say I appreciate how you presented it, right? By sticking to first and foremost, hey, the walking track is wide open, because that was one of the biggest selling points was that it was going to be open to the general public at all times. And then going to the $5 to try the amenities. And I feel like not only is that a good rate, and like you said, we're not even getting a full $5 because the fees in that, it was our way of saying to the citizens when they funded this and built it, that everybody's going to be able to use this in some capacity, in some way, at some time. And so that's important. And the punch card, I like that too. And we've done a really good job, I feel like, in the last few months, at least, especially with McKenna's video, of really letting people know about the different entities that you have and that you can get in for $5 and all that good stuff. So, but then obviously, like we said, when we went into this years ago, like we don't know what we don't know yet, right? And so I appreciate as you went through here talking about what's staying the same, what you're coming down in price a little bit, and what you're increasing in price a little bit. And I don't think that I don't think that's. I mean, I'm not saying I don't think it's a bad thing. It's a great thing, because that means we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, and that's feeling this thing out as we go, right? So thank you for all your hard work on putting this together, and thank you for all your hard work running this place. All right, with that speech, I guess I'll make a motion to
Thanks, Joe.
to approve the 2027 proposed fees for the sports center as presented.
Second. Any discussion? Any further discussion? If not, Jeff, please pull the board.
Commissioner Deutsch,
Aye.
Commissioner Dawson,
Aye.
Commissioner Secor May,
Aye.
Commissioner Absey.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kaylee, and thanks everyone for all the fee talk. No, we have to.
All right, Kelly.
All right. Good evening, commissioners. As part of the budget process, we evaluate our current membership program fees to determine the recommendations for the fee increase for 2027. As staff, we looked at comparable facilities and non-member benefit to determine our new fees. So in your packet, the main change with memberships, we've looked at other clubs actually nationwide. Majority of them are getting rid of the 12-month membership. So we are just going to go to a month-to-month membership. You can still do a 12 if you want to pay for 12 in full, and then you get a 3% discount from our new rate. We basically took the two, our month-to-month membership and our discounted 12-month, kind of just took an average of those two and came up with a new price. So we will roll that out on the 1st. The current members that we have now will stay with their rate, but that will go a 3% on top of what they're paying now. So the new members will have a slightly better rate than, or the existing members will have a slightly better rate than our new members going forward. Any questions on membership? And then as for programming, we basically, again, just looked at that creating a little more of a gap of the non-member member prices. Majority of those staying the same. There may be $1 or $2 added to a couple, but it's just more of the adding on to the non-member price to give our members a break.
People that pay the bills should get a break.
That's right.
Makes sense. Encourages membership too.
Yes.
I just have to say I've been seeing the Courts Plus ads on my Facebook reel, and so you guys are getting the word out there.
I think it's telling you. I think it's telling you to get to the gym, Zoe.
I do.
It's calling your name. It's calling your name.
Any other questions?
I didn't mean that in any ill manner. Thanks, Kelly.
Well, and with that, I guess I will propose one more time. It's just I keep seeing proposed. I will motion that we approve the 2027 proposed Courts Plus community fitness fees as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? Any further discussion? Jeff, please pull the board.
Commissioner Deutsch,
Aye.
Commissioner Dawson,
Aye.
Commissioner Secor May,
Aye.
Commissioner Absey.
Aye. Motion carries. Thanks, Kelly.
Thank you.
Before we move on and our directors leave, I just want to really thank everyone for putting the fees together. It's not an easy process. They are intentional. There's a lot of work that goes into it, researching what other communities are charging, looking at participation numbers and all of that. So thank you. It's a fun process every year that I know our team really looks forward to.
All right. Up next, we have Fargo Park ordinances with Carolyn Boutain.
Good evening, Commissioners. In your packet is the updated, revised, renewed ordinances. Just to kind of give you some history, this is something that we have been talking about doing for several months. And so in February, we had our first review of the ordinances, looking at combining those that were created in 2006 with some that were created in 2017. And then also bring them up to date with what the City of Fargo ordinances currently are. With the help of Jeff Gunkelman and several others, we were able to give a first draft in February at the governance committee meeting. And then based on the discussion that we had there, those changes were made, and then we brought it to the city of Fargo to also look at it, because again, the police department and the departments there need to help us enforce these. And so it was important for us to visit with their attorneys and with the police department. And then with the changes that the city has had, it did take a little longer than we were hoping. And so in the last month, we were able to review with them any changes that they had. So in the packet, you have the red line draft from them, so that at our meeting with the governance committee, we talked about a few of the changes that they recommended based again on their current ordinances and their enforcement. And so those in your packet are noted in a different color. So enforcement, we wanted to make sure that we had the City of Fargo ordinances listed. There was discussion about Section 8 with the prohibited conduct. Number 17, specifically how to handle the enforcement of any kind of firearms. And so with Jeff's recommendation, we took the City of Fargo ordinances language. And so it is then implemented there that it is exactly the same, so that it, with the addition of use of bow and arrow in our facilities, the activities that are associated with the special herd reduction, and then any of the law enforcement officers that would be carrying individual arms as well. And then the rest of the changes were just more grammatical, making sure it read better. And then Section 13 does talk a little bit more about trespassing. And again, we updated that to be in accordance with what the city has, so that our staff and the police department can work together effectively. And Section 15 with animals basically called out the dog parks, because again, in the courses of time and parks that we have adopted, dog parks is something new based on the ordinances that we have in effect. And then we also combined things, because we had trapping ordinances separate of our total ordinances. And so trying to get everything into one document. And so what you see before you is the recommendations then with the help of the police department. And based on ordinances adoptions, what we're hoping tonight is to have discussion on the changes, and then ask you to adopt the ordinances as presented and recognize this as the first reading, because we do, based on the Century Code, need to present these twice for first and second reading, and then after that, it gets published in the newspaper. And then once that happens, it is finalized. So our proposal is to present this as the first reading tonight, in August board meeting, having the second reading, and then publishing it following that, so that by the end of August, we should be able to have this all finalized. So any questions?
Carolyn, I just want to acknowledge, I know this was a lot of work by you and your team in getting this together. And then I also want to acknowledge, I know there was a lot of discussion, as you mentioned, on that Section 8, number 17 at the governance committee. So thank you to you and Jeff for those revisions. I think they wholly address the concerns and questions that the governance committee had raised on that specific provision. And I think it does a really good job ensuring that we've got the appropriate scope of level of enforcement needed. Also, I think it's really good, the revision throughout, to just make it really clear that these codes of conduct don't sit in a silo. They are enforced in coordination with the municipal codes at the city level and the enforcement of the Fargo Police Department too. So I think that's a really good acknowledgement throughout the revisions as well, but really wanted to especially reiterate the good job on responsiveness, because I know that was a lot of questions and a lot of discussions around that number 17, and I think it addresses that in a really great way. So thank you.
We have great people on our team. Thanks, Jeff.
Well, and I want to add on to what Emily said about the time and energy, because obviously this was a lot of time and energy, and we really needed someone who was very meticulous, like you are, Carolyn, to go through it and and pinpoint the pieces that needed to be revised and needed to be maybe more detailed to help us it be very clear, so that when we do need the help from someone to enforce a policy or a procedure or an ordinance, that we're going to have that backing. So thank you.
Out of curiosity, with our new signs in the parks, are we posting like the rules of the park still in the parks?
Tony and marketing are working on that because our first level was to put signs out that said what park you were in. And with that, it made some of the rule signs removed. So yes, one of the things that his team is waiting for in the ordinances is that we, in the past, had the parks open dawn to dusk. Well, in wintertime, dusk comes really early. So now the ordinances, if adopted, would specify at 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., which then would require us to post new rules in the parks.
That's how I figured. And different things coming up like vaping and all of that, things might change on them. So, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, as everybody said, I appreciate the hard work you guys put in this, Carolyn. And I mean, this is a good problem to have, right? It means that the Fargo Park District is an independent entity. We take our own taxes. If we were in Moorhead, we would be a part of the city, and therefore, so would the police department, and they would just handle it. But we're not, and that's great. But we then are obviously working with the Fargo Police Department, and so I appreciate that you worked hand in hand with the city to align those things to make it so that it works for us, and it allows them to be able to come in and do the job so that our facilities can be used in the way that they're intended to be used at all times. So yes, thank you very much for all the hard work you guys did on this.
Ready for a motion?
Yes.
Okay. I move to approve the updated Fargo Park ordinances as presented.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Any further discussion? If not, Jeff, please pull the board.
Commissioner Deutsch.
Aye.
Commissioner Dawson.
Aye.
Commissioner Secor May.
Aye.
Commissioner Abzi.
Aye, motion carries. Thanks, Carolyn.
Thank you.
So many claps tonight.
Commissioner
And it's for
Abzi.
Brock as well, coming back
That
up.
is directed
Commissioner
at
Abzi.
Carolyn. It is
Now as the
not,
president,
not
you need to
directed at
read
you.
this whole thing.
If you can make it through the audit,
The
Brock, we're going to
entire-
clap for you too.
All right.
No, I'm kidding.
Will I be tested on
We've only
it?
got a few
No.
pages to get through.
A book report. Yeah. All right. 2025 Fargo Park District Audit.
All right.
Any with a bang.
There you go. Thank you. Well, Madam Vice President, Commissioners, I'm happy to bring to you the closure of the 2025 fiscal year and present you with an overview of the 2025 audit. As you are aware, at the June Planning Committee meeting, governance meeting, audit partner from Eide Bailey, Brian Stavanger, came and presented you with a much more detailed and thorough explanation of all of our financial documents, what our financial ratios looked like, things that they worked with us on throughout the year, and really gave you an opportunity to do a deeper dive into all of those financials. And I think that you got all of your questions answered for the most part from our audit partner. As we do our audit annually, excuse me, you recall that we run on a calendar year, so January 1st through December 31st. And as is customary in this process, we bring you our audit partner to present you all the details, and then we bring you the summation of that for your approval, generally at the July meeting. Because we do receive some federal funds through Valley Senior Services, there are really two types of audits conducted. There is a financial statement audit overall of all of the financials of the Fargo Park District, and then there is a federal funds audit that's conducted as well to stay in compliance with what we need to do with federal funds working with Valley Senior Services. Attached to your packet today, you do have finalized copies of the financial statements, the federal audit, the governance letter, and the executive summary. All these packages right here. I believe you got a digital copy of all of that. We just received these mid last week officially from Eide Bailey, and so we are certainly prepared to close the 2025 fiscal year and continue to operate in a sound fiscal manner that we typically do. Some key highlights, the thing that you are most looking for, and every year when we work with the auditors, we turn to the very last page of the audit to look to see if it's an unmodified opinion, which it is. So we're very happy about that. That's what you want issued from your auditor, and we receive that and have received that every year. There were no material weaknesses identified, and we are certainly in compliance. As you do recall, Brian Stavanger did talk about the one internal control that they note every year is that they do help us put together our financial statements. Eide Bailey does that as a partner of ours, and so as a result of them helping with that process and recommending some journal entries, they do disclose that as a note, as an internal control, simply because they're involved as a partner, but no internal control weaknesses that were identified. Certainly, we're in compliance with all relevant financial reporting, both with our financial statements and with our federal funds. So for us, it's like being called to the principal's office a little bit. You're always nervous when the auditors come, but you're always comfortable that you're doing the right things and make sure that you're operating in the sound fiscal manner that we're supposed to. And as I've said to you previously, Eide Bailey truly is a partner of ours. They've done our audit for some time, and we communicate with them throughout the course of the year on a variety of issues regarding the finances of the Fargo Park District, and make sure that they are aware of the day-to-day things that are going on, as well as them keeping us aware if there's any changes, any gap accounting or GASB changes that'll be coming up for the audit, things we need to prepare for. So we really are working in partnership with them on a regular basis. I will try to answer any questions that you may have in regards to the audit. I know that, as I said, you had an opportunity to visit with Brian as he presented it, and I think he did a good job of walking you through the things that we have planned for at the Park District, and seeing if there is such a thing, some normalization coming at the end of fiscal 2025, as we made some very significant financial plans as it included indebtedness and tax increases to pay for that indebtedness, et cetera. It drove up our cash balances for a period of time, and then you're seeing the normalization of that coming down, and in really being in lockstep with our long-range financial plan, which we brought to you last year for approval, and it's nice to see that all coming to fruition. Before you ask any questions or hopefully move toward approval, I just want to make sure that I point out, I love to be able to come up here and tell you the good news about the work that our finance team does. And I want to give credit to an incredible team that we have. Getting to come up here and quote unquote take credit for having a clean audit is great, but the work all happens behind the scenes. So you guys, many of you know Luke Evenson, our controller, Jody Busick in our office, Christy Sular, Deanna Magnuson, and Misty Carrier. The audit is a year-long process, and that team does an outstanding job of making me look awfully good to come in front of you and show you the good news. So they deserve a lot of the credit for the things that have gone on to get this audit prepared. With that, I'll stand for any questions that you might have.
I don't have any questions, but I appreciate you calling out your team, because I think that's important, that we recognize the people who sit behind the desks and the public doesn't really see ever, if at all. And, we get excited about all the other facets of Fargo Parks, but, the greens, the programs, everything else we do, but without finance and without you guys making sure we are doing things adequately, none of this could be possible. So I appreciate your team, and so please thank them.
Will do. Thank you.
I just want to acknowledge too, the June governance meeting, we did have that opportunity to go into a lot of greater detail on the audit, the scope, the comprehensiveness of the review, the financial statements and everything. And I think a lot of good discussion there, no material concerns raised by the committee at that time, but that was a really fruitful opportunity to more closely understand. Also to echo Vicky, I think the significance of a clean audit can't be understated. When we think about our role as commissioners, one of the things that we are charged with is ensuring that the district is operating in a financially sound manner in compliance with standards that are set either legally or by industry standards. And so in that way, having the independent audit function alleviates us in some ways of not having to personally go through every single financial statement. And so I think that it is commendable that your team got us to the point of ensuring that as that third party objective audit comes through, that we can rest assured that we are continuing to operate in that way. So congrats to your team, because that's not a small order.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. I think this is the last one of the night. Number 847. Just kidding. I move to approve the audited financial statements and federal audit as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? Any further discussion? Jeff, please pull the board.
Commissioner Deutsch,
Aye.
Commissioner Dawson,
Aye.
Commissioner Secor May,
Aye.
Commissioner Abzey.
Aye, motion carries. And I think we need to give Brock a round of applause now. All right, next we have governance committee updates with Commissioner Dawson.
Okay, so I always feel like we're doing a recap of the board meeting because most of what's covered in these two groups of minutes, the governance committee and the planning committee, we've taken care of most of it during the board meeting. So the first one was the review of the 2025 audit, and I think Emily did a nice job explaining, having Ide Bailey come out and explain the audit and answer questions and help us feel good about what they do for us and help us continue to work financially sound. And then the second item on the agenda was review and discuss the updated Fargo Park ordinances, which again went through the steps of do we have any changes? Do we feel good about this? Which you also heard some additional revisions and just details in regard to item number 17. And if it's okay, we'll just go right on to the planning committee update.
Yes.
Okay. So planning committee meeting minutes, which most of these were discussed again tonight. The first one, transfer agreement with Central North Dakota Steam Threshers. We had them come and present what they were going to do with the train, what they were going to take on that we owned, when that would happen, and where it was going to be located so we could maybe see it again functioning someday. We had a urban archery deer hunting program request from the Sandhills Archery Club, who manages our herd reduction program, with Rob Mounts and Odin Helgerson, who always do a nice job presenting. And they had a request regarding adding some additional parks. After lengthy discussion, we decided not to act on that, and they will continue to operate in the same footprint that they did last year. It continues to be a very successful program with a lot of interest, and it seems to handle very well working it through the Sandhills Archery Club. We discussed the resolutions, creating the Park Improvement District, which we talked about and approved tonight with Madeline's Meadows and Selkirk. And then we went through all of the fees for youth and adult programming, facilities, pools, golf, sports center, and Courts Plus, which we approved all of tonight. And then the final item we talked about was credit card fees and the large financial impact on the Park District of us absorbing the fees that the credit card companies are charging every time someone buys a pass, pays for something, purchases a program or anything else, and how we want to move forward with that, because it does have a huge financial impact on the Park District and how we may be able to pass that cost on to the end user, the person using the credit card. And just want to make it very clear that patrons always would have the option to use other ways where they aren't being charged that additional fee, whether it's cash, a check, or a debit card. So want to make that clear that people will always have that opportunity when they're purchasing something from the Park District. And that's the minutes from those two meetings.
Great recap, Vicky. Anything else for the good of the order?
Move to adjourn.
Meeting adjourned.